The Australian Open is a tennis tournament held annually over the last fortnight of January at Melbourne Park in Melbourne, Australia. The tournament is the first of the 4 Grand Slam tennis events held each year, preceding the French Open, Wimbledon, and the US Open. It features men's and women's singles, men's, women's, and mixed doubles, juniors championships, and wheelchair, legends, and exhibition events. Prior to 1988, it was played on grass courts. But since then 3 types of hardcourt surfaces have been used. Green-colored rebound ace up to 2007. Blue plexicushion from 2008 to 2019. And blue-green set since 2020. First held in 1905 as the Australasian Championships, the Australian Open has grown to become one of the biggest sporting events in the Southern Hemisphere. Nicknamed the Happy Slam, and often referred to as the Grand Slam of Asia Pacific, the tournament is the highest attended Grand Slam event, with more than 812,000 people attending the 2020 tournament. It was also the first Grand Slam tournament to feature indoor play during wet weather or extreme heat, with its 3 primary courts: Rod Laver Arena, John Cain Arena, and the refurbished Margaret Court Arena equipped with retractable roofs. The Australian Open is managed by Tennis Australia, formerly the Lawn Tennis Association of Australia, and was first played at the Warehousemen's Cricket Ground in Melbourne in November 1905. The facility is now known as the Albert Reserve Tennis Centre, and was a grass court. The tournament was first known as the Australasian Championships. It became the Australian Championships in 1927. Then, in 1969, it became the Australian Open. Since 1905, the Australian Open has been staged in 5 Australian cities: Melbourne, Brisbane and Hastings. Though started in 1905, the tournament was not designated as being a major championship until 1924 by the International Lawn Tennis Federation at a 1923 meeting. The tournament committee changed the structure of the tournament to include seeding at that time. In the period of 1916 to 1918, no tournament was organized due to World War I. During World War II, the tournament was not held in the period from 1941 to 1945. In 1972, it was decided to stage the tournament in Melbourne each year because it attracted the biggest patronage of any Australian city. The tournament was played at the Kooyong Lawn Tennis Club from 1972 until its move to the new Melbourne Park complex in 1988. The new facilities at Melbourne Park. Because of Australia's geographic remoteness, very few foreign players entered this tournament in the early 20th century. In the 1920s, the trip by ship from Europe to Australia took about 45 days. The first tennis players who came by boats were the US Davis Cup players in November 1946. Even inside the country, many players could not travel easily. When the tournament was held in Perth, no one from Victoria or New South Wales crossed by train, a distance of about 3,000 kilometers between the east and west coasts. In Christchurch in 1906, of a small field of 10 players, only 2 Australians attended, and the tournament was won by a New Zealander. The first tournaments of the Australasian Championships suffered from the competition of the other Australasian tournaments. Before 1905, All Australian states and New Zealand had their own championships, the first being organised in 1880 in Melbourne and called the Championship of the Colony of Victoria. Their meetings in the Victorian Championships and beyond bog came rarely or not at all. Beginning in 1969, when the first Australian Open was held on the Milton Courts at Brisbane, the tournament was open to all players, including professionals who were not allowed to play the traditional circuit. Nevertheless, except for the 1969 and 1971 tournaments, many of the best players missed this championship until 1982. Because of the remoteness, the inconvenient dates and the low prize money. In 1970, George McCall's National Tennis League, which employed Rod Laver, Ken Rosewall, Andres Gimeno, Pancho Gonzalez, Roy Emerson and Fred Stoll, prevented its players from entering the tournament because the guarantees were insufficient. The tournament was won by Arthur Ashe. In 1983, Ivan Lendl, John McEnroe and Mats Wilander entered the tournament. Wilander won the singles title and both his Davis Cup singles rubbers in the Swedish lost to Australia at Kooyong shortly after. Following the 1983 Australian Open, the International Tennis Federation prompted the Lawn Tennis Association of Australia to change the site of the tournament, because the Kooyong Stadium was then inappropriate to serve such a big event. In 1988 the tournament was first held at Flinders Park. The change of the venue also led to a change of the court surface from grass to a hard court surface known as Rebound Ace. Mats Wilander was the only player to win the tournament on both grass and hard courts. In 2008, after being used for 20 years, the Reb.